Hello, my sexy muffins, and happy Mother's Day. For this Mother's Day, I thought I would highlight some of the key moments in my mom's life from her conception to now, and how that's Chloe shaking and shimmying in the background, anyways, and what she has done throughout her life, the struggles she's had, and how she's managed to survive so much harm to her throughout her existence. So let's do it. Happy Mother's Day to my mom. Anyways, let's do this. She was born in the 50s, so before there was even like able for women to have their own bank account type of thing. And right away, was not spawned into the right place because her father, my grandfather, had two families. He had the one with my Catholic grandmother, and the other one with the Jewish woman that he had that he wasn't legally married to, but that was having his kids pass on his religious faith because Jewish heritage is passed on through the mother. So my grandmother didn't want to convert, but stayed with him because she literally couldn't have her own bank account without my grandfather. So right away, my mom is born into a family where her father has literally just 2 blocks away. I remember this house growing up 2 blocks away had another family. Literally, I remember the kids growing up. We weren't allowed to play with them, but literally, they were my cousins. I didn't know were my cousins until adulthood, and that one was my mom's half sister who had kids with. Yeah, so it was spawned right away. Then she lost the love of her life. I can't remember her childhood fully because she hasn't talked about it so much, but she had a sister that despised her from like the moment she was brought home to adulthood. And one of her brothers was probably in the witness protection because he just disappeared. He hung around a lot of shady people and then just one day disappeared. Don't know what happened to him. No police records on arrest. Just completely disappeared. We haven't heard from him since. My mom hasn't since, and it was before we were even born, so probably in witness protection. And then my mom had a boyfriend named Steve who she loved dearly, but he died in a motorcycle accident. Not to his fault, he was driving legally, but a truck was plowed right into him on the side and he went skidding and he was DOA. He was on arrival deceased at the ER. So she lost the love of her life, which honestly makes me feel because I have talked to her about this, but the way she like settled for my dad, and this is where it was really bad. Like one time he put his hands on her on a date at a bowling alley, I believe, and she came home, and when she came inside, she took a frying pan and him around the head. Now, my father was an alcoholic and at this point was starting to drink and stuff. And my mom shouldn't have stayed with him, shouldn't have had me and my other siblings because on the day of her wedding, when it was their anniversary, he left, took the car on the day of their wedding after the reception, got drunk, and did wheelies in the car in some local area. So that's how she spent the first day of her honeymoon until he sobered up and come back to pick her up. So yeah, not a good start for a marriage. And my dad was an abusive piece of poo. Can't say all the stuff he's done to me, my mom, and my siblings on YouTube because of guidelines and stuff. But she had to deal with that. And by the second pregnancy, that it was, the doctor even said, you should not have more kids with this man. She then had an accidental pregnancy with me and had my sister afterwards. So that was that. She was a strong ass woman, though, that dealt with the most harmful stuff as a woman during her pregnancies and stuff. And because she was being abused physically, my dad was doing drugs and alcohol and smoking and all that stuff. And my mom was just trying to keep the marriage together. Fast forward a few years, my sister and me are born. My half sister, who will remain nameless because I'm not going to put out any drama and stuff, got pregnant. Well, one of my half sisters, both of them got pregnant, but one lived with us for a short time with my nieces and nephews. And just, it was fine. It was fine. It was complicated because she tried to act like the adult when she was in her early 20s because she got pregnant at 16 and tried to act like she was the adult when she was not. Yes, she was legally an adult, but she was not in charge of me and my siblings, so there was a lot of issues there. Anyways, my mom was basically a grandmother to her stepchildren. Because they became her stepchildren, my dad had four marriages, so she was the stepmother to three children that came from my dad's previous marriages. So, rough start. My mom had a rough start at life, and that's what makes me think she settled because she lost the love of her life, I believe. That was Steve, and decided to stay with a man who was abusive piece of poo. And she stayed strong through all of it. She did not leave my dad until the CPS decided to say, if you stay with this man, we are going to take your kids away and going to take away your nursing license. At this point, she was choosing her kids and her career over the religious stuff of you're not supposed to divorce no matter what. And let me get this straight. I wanted to punch that I can't say that on YouTube. That piece of poo pastor that at the church we were going to Baptist at the time, even though we were other religions at times, but anyways, Baptist at the time, and he said to my mom, she had to get up in front of the church and apologize for being a failure of a wife because she got divorced. And let me remind you, my dad had SA'd and graped me for years, for 3 years when I was a child. I was about 13 at this time, so it was years later, like 5 years a year later. But I was just starting to remember that. And my mom refused to apologize because she didn't want to believe in a God that would say a mother should stay with a man that is abusing their children and even SAing their children. She didn't know about it until after this thing, but you know what I mean. She didn't want to stay with a man that was doing that. And she believed that God wouldn't judge her for that reason. Baptists are really freaking hoity toity. They're the types that don't even think you should be allowed to dance before marriage and stuff, and like not dance at all. It's really freaking hoity toity. Do not like them at all. Anyways, with all that going on and all this poo going on, she stayed strong. And this is when I started to experience severe mental illness with being diagnosed schizophrenic at 13 and almost less than a year later, bipolar at 13, 14 between that time. But it was almost like 6 months at least. So she had to deal with all that. My mental illness getting worse and worse. So my mom is a bad mama jamma. She dealt with years of abuse from my father, dealt with her daughter at 13 coming out with SA and grape of that father, and also severe mental illness and trauma, and handled it like a champ. And I remind you, I slept walk and almost stibsed her. I've attacked her in the past like she is a champ. Honestly, if I had any other mother, they would either have me committed or would have had me arrested for half the poo I did. So my mom is a bad ass. Anyways, so all credit to my mom for putting up with me for years. And even though we have a rough relationship now where I'm going low contact because my mom just doesn't want to change some behaviors and I put my mental health first, I still stay in contact with her and help support her because she did deal with a lot personally for me. And yes, that was her job. She literally chose to be a parent. But I understand that I was not the easiest child and I could have been better at some points. And also, I'm doing it because it's the right thing to do. I could easily just cut her off and live my life as is, but it's the right thing to do, even though but I still stay on the line that if she's going to cause me mental distress, I'm going to say, okay, you can be alone. You know where to contact me. If you need emergency stuff, I will help, but I'm not going to take abuse anymore. And that is where I'm at. But since she has put up with so much of my stuff, which she's been through a lot, a lot. Like, I was refusing to take medication when I was like 13, 14, 15, hiding medication, and basically in a years long state of psychosis, which she had to deal with. If she wasn't a psych nurse and had experience with mentally insane people, at the state hospital, she probably would have not known what to do with me. So I give her all the credit in the world. She is a bad mama jamma. Anyways, thank you to my mom for raising me up and making sure I survived all those years. I hope that you all enjoyed and give your mom some love unless she's a piece of poo and physically harms you. Then she doesn't deserve anything because some mothers don't deserve to be mothers. My mom has really good moments, but also some really bad moments because she refuses to go through the therapy and stuff. Well, she honestly can't afford therapy, but you get what I mean. I help where I can, but I'm also not taking abuse, and neither should you. Anyways, I hope that you all enjoyed this video. If you would like to see more, comment below what you would like to see. Give your mom some love if she's deserving of it. And yeah, just do the best that you can. If you're a mom yourself or a mother in role, if you're cis, trans, whatever, gender queer, gender fluid, whatever, if you take on the mother in role, hell, if you're a cisgender man and you play the mother in role because you're a single parent, you deserve that credit because you are doing it still regardless. Anyways, I hope that you all enjoyed and stay sexy, all my sexy muffins. Happy Mother's Day. Bye bye. Secret outro time, secret outro time, secret outro time, secret outro, a baseball bat. Welcome to the secret outro. And the secret outro question is, what is your favorite slash or first memory that you had with your mother or mother in figure that played the role of your mother? If you are adopted or if you were in the system, who was the mother and figure that you had? I had my mom, and the vivid, I don't think I have a favorite memory that like stands out as a favorite memory that I have, but I think one of the most memories that do stand out was basically when I got my stuffed Pikachu from when I was like 5 years old. It's like my first conscious memory I had. And my mom said I could get anything I wanted. I wanted this Pikachu. And that's the first vivid memory I have of being self aware of being in existence. And it was with my mom who was getting me the Pikachu from a Kmart. Kmart no longer exists, but that's how long ago it was. And I was like 5 years old, so it was like 2000. I remember it. I can vividly picture the spot the stuffed Pikachu was. It's very iconic in my mind. So, yes, that is the first and most meaningful memory I have because it is my first memory. Anyways, I hope that you all enjoyed and stay sexy on my sexy muffins. Bye bye.